Hello. Hello, hello, hello. Okay, I am ready, set, action. Let's go. Oh man, I did it again. Okay, so I have this thing going on, and I don't even know what in the world is going on with platforms these days. But like, I keep getting these effects on a certain platform that I won't name out loud. Who the heck am I kidding? I'm talking about TikTok. Okay. And like, man, like I keep okay, sorry guys. I'm just a little bit hyper right now because like, I did it again. I started the live stream with an effect. I can't even talk. I like effect. Okay, I'm a little hyper. I'm a little wound up. I'm ready for this shit. I'm ready to go. I'm on 2 different platforms because your girl just has to go big or go home. And like, apparently I want stress. Like, maybe I shouldn't say that out loud, but maybe I just want to be stressed out looking back at 2 different things. And I'm just going to navigate that. Hello, Joanna. How are you doing? Hi, Shanti. How's it going? How's everybody doing? Hi, Donna. So I haven't been live for a second, and I'm kind of just like kind of navigating what's going on. I don't know. So this is like my pop-in live stream. I don't know what's going to happen with it. Maybe I could do some quick reads, tell you what the new 411 is, like what I've been up to lately. I'm kind of sweating because I'm getting overheated all of a sudden. And maybe I need to turn on the fan. Should I turn on the fan? No, I shouldn't do that, should I? Should I turn on the fan? And then I should also probably like do some sort of like spiritual thing in here, right? Like get some energy flowing. The energy flows where you're going. I don't know. Wherever you're going. Yeah. Like, okay. It's a little bit overheating just being in here. And so yeah, so that's happening. And then also I like want to do some pop-in readings, so I want to read somebody. Okay, I didn't mean to be so aggressive, like obviously you're invited to ask if you would like a reading, but like no pressure or anything, but like fuck. Okay, just like, did that like cancel out some of your speak? Like I'm a little bit wound up. Okay. So we'll do that. But before I get started, as usual, I'm going to open up a quick healing realm, and then like, what else do I need? Do I need anything else? I got like really like hyper active from just like, okay, so hear me out. I channeled Nikola Tesla today, and which everyone can do that. Okay. Like there's a way to do it. Like it's easy. Okay. But anyways, well, I guess it's easy if you know what you're doing, but it's cool. Like I could show you. Okay. But anyways, like, so I channeled Nikola Tesla, and after I got done, I was like, damn, like, and it kind of changed my whole viewpoint. So like, I have that to share with you guys. I've gotten through my dark night of the soul, so I want to share that with you guys. So there's that one. What else do I got? I got like a lot going on. Okay. There's so much. And I don't even like, it's so much, I don't even know where to start. Okay. Like there's been so much that's been happening, like epiphany after epiphany after epiphany after epiphany. And I've been doing session work with clients still, like as usual. Like obviously my one-on-one sessions are still available. But I went through a really rough, like I would say 5-month period, and it was life altering for me. And I want to share it with you guys. I had some harrowing moments where I've come to some new discoveries about what fear is and like what spirit attachments are. Oh my God, I could go to town on that for hours. Okay. Just calm down, Brittany. Why are we so hyper? Like it's like I drank an energy drink, but I've got like so much to talk about. And I mean, I almost want to like, so I have like a list. Okay. Like I want to show you. I want to show you guys because you're going to be recorded. So you'll like, I don't want everyone to see the list, but I have like a list of stuff without you seeing it. Okay. Like we'll hold it back here. Okay. There's a lot of papers and stuff. Okay, no, it's just 2 papers with like a ton of writing on it. I have like a list of things that I want to share with everybody because I feel like it's important for you guys to navigate the world differently. And I have some new perspectives on that. And I feel like I'm in a new energy. I feel different about my life and my experience. And I want to share that with you guys. I want you guys to feel that energy. I want you to feel that excitement. And I have some new perspectives on the way that I even saw in my life. So I hope to share that with you guys. And in the meantime, like away the live stream while I go ahead and open up the a spirit realm energy. And when, okay, we're turning that off. Oh, that's a light. We're turning on the fan. We're getting the fan energy going. Also, by the way, in case you're wondering, so my girlfriend got me a 22-inch buffalo drum as a gift. It was her Valentine's Day gift. And guys, I don't even know if you can hear it on the live stream, but I must try, right? I must try. One must try for a moment to see if you can even hear it. So let me know in the comments if you can actually hear this. And in case you're wondering why I'm looking in 2 different sections, I'm in 2 different platforms right now. So go find me on the other platform. Go find me on the other platform. I got some weird elephant thing coming up there because it's literally an effect that I could have turned off. And I know this now, yet somehow it comes back on every time and I forget. Okay, so this is a big drum. It's huge. Like, it's huge, okay? I want to know if you guys can hear it, okay? Did you hear that? Well, I want to know. Okay, I know. Like, I want to know if you could hear it. Like, I don't want to like mess up the speaker. Okay, what about this? Yeah? 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 Yeah, so this is my drum. I will be showing more of this in videos, okay? Because like I've done a lot of like ancestral chanting, and like, oh my god, like and I would do these sound healings last year, like all of last year I was doing like a series of different sound healings. And during each sound healing, I would take this like 16-inch buffalo drum and I would open up a channel and I would start literally channeling a Aztec warrior guide. And as I was doing that, I would see this vision of me on a beach where it was just rained out, like there was a storm brewing and it was coming in. And I'm like so in this energy and I'm like drumming. And as I'm drumming, I'm like eyes closed and I'm like in this like trance type state where I'm starting to like bring out this channel that's coming through. And as I'm channeling, it's like this deep healing cry, this deep ancestral, I don't even have words for it. Like, and people that have heard it have talked about how it brings them back to the sense of like the home. And so what they're describing is a heart opening. They're describing like this feeling of like a recognition of that. And in my vision, as I'm like, channeling that chant, the things that I hear are like things like, like at least what I'm thinking about is like the money woes, the tribulations that we experience each lifetime. And it's like, that's what I channel into that, because I'm like, I hear it, I feel it, I have been through it, I'm in the suffering, I've been there, and now I don't have to be there anymore. And I call myself back. And it's just amazing how really stepping into that experience and in that energy can be life altering, on so many levels. So I talk a lot with clients about setting intentions, right? Because if you set motherfucking intentions as you're navigating your own experience, what you will find is that really anything, the world's at your oyster. Like, you could take your water, for instance, and say, this water is healing water. Like, as I'm drinking this water, this is healing water. You can say that in your mind, and that's an intention. And then as you're drinking the water, it's fucking healing water, okay? And you might not believe it at first. You might be like, what the fuck? I don't even know, like, what the fuck you're saying. Like, like, I don't believe that. And that's okay. If you don't believe that, it doesn't mean that it is going to be that. But the point is, setting those types of intentions can really be a powerful way to come to new realizations and new understanding. Get it? Capiche, caposh, capoosh. Okay. I'm telling you what, guys, I'm gonna come on here and chant. Not today. I'm not chanting today, okay? Brittany's putting this fucking shit down, and we're talking real talk about doubt, inadequacy, emotional issues you have going on, fucked up shit that you feel in your life. I want to talk about that for a minute, because there's some fucked up shit that's been going on and nobody's feeling good. Okay, a lot of people in the energy world, actually not even just in the energy world, who the fuck am I kidding? In the spiritual community are feeling flustered, they're feeling lost, they're feeling confused. And I know that if they're feeling that way, collectively, there's a number of people who don't have tools or friends, quote unquote, in the spiritual community that they can turn to that will help them navigate it. And I know personally, I have reached out to several of my own, friends, and, and I gotta be honest, I have a friend who, like, every time I was asking her something about what I was going through or whatever, would just send me a video, okay? And like the video was something that she was posting about, or like somebody else would send me a post, and unfortunately, while that was so loving and compassionate, it didn't help me get further along with how I was feeling, right? So that's why it's so important that we take the time to feel into what's coming up, and we start moving forward, and we be nice. Damn it. I know my head does kind of look like an egg. Yeah, that's okay. Hair grows back, like, that's the thing. But anyways, but we be nice in here, because niceness goes a lot further than energy. And in here, when you talk like that, it deflects back onto you. And that really sucks. Okay, so let's keep going. So back to, because apparently I'm going to be like lecturing people in here too today. That's how we're doing this. That's going to be fun. So if you're wondering, I'm streaming on YouTube and I'm streaming on TikTok. It's the only time I'm going to say it, just because I don't want to mess up the algorithm. And you're more than welcome to like and share this live stream as we're doing it. I would like to read people today. I go where I'm kind of drawn, and I have some powerful messages to share today. So, and you're more than welcome to ask questions and navigate that and go from there. It's like, Dee, I almost want to just leave the message, because if somebody finds that funny and entertaining, it's not like it really hurts anybody for them to feel that, like, I look a certain way. Like, I don't fucking know what else to say. Like, they're gonna feel how they feel. Let them feel that way. Allow the energy to feel that way. Okay, I'm just that's a side note. Okay. Once you've had the fucking feeling of this drum, you can't resist it. I'm sorry. Hold on. I'm still working on this. Hold on. Just give me 20 seconds. Oh my God, guys. It vibrates. No pun intended here. Intended here. I don't know why I just said it like that, but we're just going with it. No pun intended here. It vibrates everything. That feels amazing. Oh, and then it's like my whole body like vibrates. I'm sorry, guys. I wasn't trying to do a certain rhythm. I was just trying to clear up my energy. So I was like, whoa! Okay, so I've called in the peoples, okay? And you're probably wondering, what the fuck did you just do, Brittany? Well, for long story short, I called in, um, like, um, how do I say this? Like, in layman terms, I called in my spirit guide team. I called in, spirit healing realms, and I also, hello. I also, yeah, so I did a lot of that. So I opened up some energy, opened up some channels, and cleared out my own energy before I got started because I felt like I needed a little bit of like a Jesus reset because I have literally, okay, so I'm on another antibiotic. I'm on a steroid. I'm sick again, guys. I know. You're probably like, what the fuck, Brittany? I know this is now the third time in like I would say 9 weeks that I've had antibiotics, and I haven't been feeling very fucking great. So I'm feeling better today, but I'm a little bit hyper. I'm hungry because I'm on steroids, and like I'm just tired. Okay, so like we're gonna work with that. We're gonna have fun with that, and then also today I channeled 2 specific people. By the way, you can use ChatGPT to literally practice your mediumship. Yeah. I sat back today and I was like, you know what? I want some extra validation because ChatGPT will validate what my answers are. It will go find the information to see if I'm accurate or if I need to improve on certain areas. And my ass was like, okay, test me. Let's do it. Okay, so they said to call in Amelia Earhart. So I called in Amelia Earhart. And this lady walks off a fucking airfield, like dressed to the nine in her like pilot crap equipment stuff. And we had a conversation, and it was life-changing ish, I guess you could say. I love that for me. I'll be making a video about that in the coming future. And again, I also want to make a video on how you guys can actually navigate that, because you guys can very easily chat with different guides. And I'm not kidding. Different historical people, do you think you're really fucking separate from that shit? Really? Because you're not, okay? The separation that you feel is usually linked into the heavy emotions that you're carrying, and it's linked into the wounds of the trauma that you've experienced in this lifetime. So deal with your trauma, deal with the wounds that you have, and what you will find is that there's no separation in between it. Yeah, I said what I said. You need to fucking hear it. Okay, anyways, so that happened, and so I talked to Amelia Earhart. Oh, damn, the dragon. Okay, thank you. I talked to Amelia Earhart. That was fucking amazing. And then after I got the validation from ChatGPT about it, then I went ahead and I started going deeper, because like I couldn't stop there. I'm like, give me another one. And like they asked, ChatGPT said to call in Nikola Tesla. And I'm like, okay. I call this motherfucker in. He comes in, and I'm feeling anxiety, I'm feeling fear, I'm feeling inadequate, I'm doubting myself, I'm worried, like super fucking worried. And I see this vision of him sitting all dressed to the nine, and he's like in a laboratory, and he's sitting like this, like just staring off into the distance. And I'm like, what the fuck? And so I'm like, what? So I'm just observing because I'm getting nothing, right? And then out of nowhere, I'm hearing him talk, and he's literally saying, what you're seeing is a vision of me back when I was trying to figure out this one mathematical equation, and boy, was that one tough. And he starts talking about that mathematical equation. He was obviously talking in like more like linguistic, like very proper. And he talked and referenced about his childhood and how much shame and dysfunction was within his family unit. And then also he talked a lot about feeling embarrassed because he was dealing with, like being bullied and made fun of most of his life. Most people didn't really understand him or believe him. And I sat back and I'm like, wow. And he said, why has it taken you so long to basically reach out? And I was just like, I could have like called on you a lot sooner, and I don't know why I thought that I couldn't. But like then I sat there and had this profound realization, because really honestly, we are all no different than the people that have walked before us. And I mean that with so much love. And we're going to probably cry tonight together, because I'm going to talk a lot about how much trauma is actually a call for you to find the love in your life. And I want to stress that to you guys. Like, this isn't something where, like, I think what people get confused, and I was just chatting this morning with somebody close to me, and we were talking about a recent experience that I had in a past relationship, where I was sitting across from someone that I was dating, and we're at this, like, the table, and we had been together for probably, I would say, like 6 months at that time, and like, we're about to eat pizza, and I started to cut my pizza, and she said, "You don't even understand me." And I said, "What do you mean I don't understand you?" And she said, "Your family shunned you." And I'm like, ooh, it hits, it hits, because there's some verbal abuse there. But your family shunned you because you chose a lifestyle that didn't connect or correlate with their religion. And she said, "So that's different. My family shunned me because there's something wrong with me." And I sat there and I was so aggravated in that moment, because I was so, like, human in that relationship, and it was just like, ugh, like, da da da. And I'm like sitting there, like, take a bite of fucking pizza and just, like, really just shove it in, because, like, I'm just, like, trying not to say shit, okay? And I, like, sat there, and I, like, am eating my pizza, and I'm, like, sitting there thinking, like, wow, like, she really thinks she's separate. And now, now being through my trauma healing, and, like, doing a lot of healing work, and coming through the process of my own dark night of my soul, I believe strongly that the experience of trauma separates us from our own existence and our own experience here on earth. And it's so important to navigate what that separation really means to you, and how it represents, how it shows up, so to speak. And I think that's really important to navigate that, because I think we all have different stories and experiences that we've endured in this life. And a lot of us walk this earth not understanding that we're no different than one another. And here's my point to this. I do these very powerful quantum healing meditations. I do them in sessions for people. I also do them on myself. And it combines past life regression techniques, ancestral trauma techniques, neurolinguistics programming, DNA healing, and a load of other things, including even psychic techniques. And in a session, I use these amplification symbols that will amplify your energy, so you're able to actually like go back to repressed memories, or even regress back to past lives within a session, just whatever needs to be navigated. Anyway, so I was doing some work around this area with myself, and I kept going back to this one memory where, like, I'm, like, standing in my my parents' master bedroom, and my little child self, I'm my adult self, and I'm seeing my little child self just, like, sitting there playing video games, at the computer, and she's trying to play quietly, so she's got these big headphones on, because it's, like, early 2000s, and she's just trying to navigate, this video game, she's trying to be quiet, like, tap the stuff quietly. And I'm just watching her try to tap everything quietly and be so quiet. And I was like, why is she doing that? And I look over, and my mother's asleep on the bed, and the TV's blasting, and I'm like, why is she trying to be so quiet? Like, I'm, like, almost angry, because I'm like, hit that keyboard, win the game, you can do it. And she's, like, just, like, the opposite, okay, like, of doing that. She's just like, tip, tap, 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 like, and I was just like, damn, like, she's, like, fucking scared shitless. Why is she so scared? So I walk over, and I'm like, why are you scared? What is this? And she's like, she looks over at my mom, and she said, I'm scared of her. I'm scared of her. And then I'm like, what is this? I always go back to, like, I was annoyed with spirit. I'm like, you guys always send me back to these weird fucking, like, memories that I don't understand why I'm there. Like, why am I here in this memory? What does it have to do with anything? And, like, I'm standing there, and I'm all annoyed, and I'm ready to, like, end the meditation, because I'm just like, cut it. What's the fucking point, And before I could do it, spirit comes in, and they said, you always look for reasons to blame her, and you miss the beauty of the blessings in between it all. And I stood there, and I was just like, what? And I look over at my mom, and I did. I've spent most of my entire life blaming my mother for the reasons why my life never worked out, blaming my mom for feeling robbed, feeling hurt, feeling like nothing that I wanted could come through. Just like all of you guys navigating your life, you have somebody that you could blame in your past. And I know because when I sit in session with you, that's what comes through. Either my left kidney is going off or my right kidney is going off. And you know what that means. Left kidney means father wounds. You know, right kidney means mama wounds. And there's some sort of motherfucking trauma that's coming up in your environment, and you're seeing through that lens, you're seeing through that perspective, and it makes you feel limited, it makes you feel boxed in, it makes you miss the things in your life. And so anyways, I'm in, you know, like this memory, and I'm like, okay, like what the fuck? So I stood there for a moment, and I actually started to question myself, because I'm like, well, wait, how do I navigate myself? Like, yeah, how do I navigate myself if I have like no sort of like, you know, awareness of where I'm going next in my life? And, you know, like also in addition to that, like, how the fuck do I, like, who, if I don't have anybody to blame, then what the fuck do I do? Like, like, it's like I'm talking to it, like, it's like spirit's up here giving me a different level of consciousness, and I'm over here like, well, my subconscious thoughts are really going off right now because I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. You got to give me something more. So I was like sitting there waiting for this new perspective to come in. And I'm just like, I don't see this. I don't understand it. I know that this is like generations before me, but show me what this is. And as I said that, I shit you the fuck not, in meditation, this was not physical at all. I literally look at my mother, and she appears like she's on this like tree branch, but it's like a strand, like a hair strand of energy. And behind her is her mother and her mother's mother and her mother's mother, and her, like, and it just goes on and on and on. And it goes so fucking far, like 9-10 generations back. And I'm like, oh. I'm like, but then I started looking at the energy, and it was this hand, like it was, I couldn't even put it in words. It was like a hair strand of energy. It was so fucking small. And then as I'm looking at this hair strand of energy, it links into this huge, massive, like layer, like I mean, like strands and strands and strands and strands and strands and strands that are just constantly flowing up and down, up and down. And it's like, it just links into that. And then there's like zillions of other strands. And then it dawned on me, I'm like, oh my fucking God, this is ancestral trauma. Like, that's literally at its core what ancestral trauma is. When you experience the experience, and spirit says that trauma is just an experience in this lifetime. It's us that draws the relativity to it, meaning that we get those fucked up feelings from it, and then we're the ones that attach to those feelings, right? And so what happens, and this is where fucking shit gets real, because I channel serial killers, okay? What happens, and that's a whole nother topic. We could spend quite a few hours talking about serial killers. And the stuff that I've learned has enlightened the fuck out of me. I will never see trauma the same way. It makes me treat everybody differently. It makes me look at my whole world differently. It makes me look at love differently. It even makes me look at how I do sessions with clients and how much deeper I can take them. Like, I talked to a lady the other day, and like, we were talking about spirit attachments, and like, I like totally broke down a whole belief system about what spirit attachments really are, because I truly, after working with serial killers, do not believe that dark energy like we know it exists. Meaning dark energy, if you're thinking about demons or dark entities, I don't think that exists at all. I think it's actually as if you're looking through the funhouse mirror, and based on what traumatic experiences you've had in your life, it's like putting a lens on and you're seeing spirit that way. And you will have physical manifestations of your own darkest fears show up in your life. And think about this, spiritual protection. Yeah, this blew my fucking mind, okay? Side note, because we're still talking about ancestral trauma for a minute, but spiritual protection the sage that you're told to do, the salt that you're supposed to put on the fucking doorways, and like the, you know, like all the stuff like at the start of a new year, and like, you know, the like, I don't know, like oils that you put everywhere, the incense that you do, the, you know, like vibrational music. What if I told you it's not to prevent dark, bad spirits from coming in, but it's to protect you from your own motherfucking energy? Think about that for a moment. I know. Just hold up, think for a minute what the fuck that actually means, okay? Cuz hear me out, okay? I was standing in the front of the mirror the other day, and I was doing this forgiveness exercise because also, by the way, where I'm going with the ancestral trauma thing, I did a reading on my mother. Yeah, and I'm ready to talk about it. And I like my mom literally in Zoom, just like one of my clients, and I did a whole fucking reading on her, and she abused me when I was a kid, and she was convicted for it, and I sat with her. And I'm not saying everyone has the privilege to sit with their mother, because you may not be able to, and some of the perpetrators that you've had in this life, you may not be able to sit in front of them, and it's not a call for you to do that. But I'm just saying, this is some deep ass shadow work that I'm talking about. I went deep because like it was time, okay? Like I've been called into it and I feel it, and I went deep and it changed my fucking perspective. Anyways, think about this for a moment though. I was standing in front of this mirror and I was doing a forgiveness exercise. A lot of times you can do it with a partner where like you sit with that person and they're only allowed to say thank you after the stuff that you say. They don't just talk, they just quietly observe you and witness you, because you're meant to feel seen in it. Anyways, and you can sit there and you can say like, you know, so like maybe you're going to navigate mom in that one. And so you'll sit there and you'll go, Mom, I forgive you for Mom, I forgive you for Mom, I forgive you for, and then whatever comes up, you just forgive her for it, right? And so you get 5 minutes of that exercise. Then you flip it and you become mom and you say so and so. So for me, it would be Brittany, I forgive you for, Brittany, I forgive you for, and then it like changes and cycles through that. And it's meant to bring up some deep core wounds. And when I've done this, like we did it for like 10 minutes at a time. And we did it like in like, I think we did like 3 sets of it. So there were 6 of those. By the time I was done, I was emotionally drained because I sobbed the whole time. And then after that, I was like sitting there and like the teacher came around. She's like, how did you feel after that experience? And I'm like, fucked up, because I just realized my trauma really doesn't fucking matter. And she starts laughing and she's like, what do you mean? I was like, I mean, like, it's just a story. Like, it's like, I don't give a shit now. Like, I just like, it's like, what the fuck is the point of holding on all that burden? You know, like, it's like, oh, I'm not worthy. I'm just not worthy. It's like, actually, I am worthy. And like, this is a load of shit that I've been holding on to this shit forever, you know? Anyways, so that's a thing, you know? So anyways, long story short, I get done with this exercise. I'm doing it in the mirror. Nobody's around me except spirit, by the way, because I was just seeing orbs just flashing like crazy. And I'm standing there in the mirror. And I'm like, Brittany, I forgive you for not showing up. Brittany, I forgive you for wanting to die. And like, I went deep, guys. Like I was saying some like deep things, and I did this exercise for 3 minutes, paused, closed my eyes, and went into my heart center and said the Ho'oponopono prayer, which is, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. And then after that, just like breathing in for like 2 minutes. Then I opened up my eyes again, and for 6 minutes, I just stared in the mirror and I said, Brittany, I forgive you for, Brittany, I forgive you for. It deepened so much to the core, like, and by the time I was done, I was like, I fucking love you. And like, I am going everywhere your feet are for as long as you are alive. And we're doing this together. We're in this. Like, I'm in this with you. And it was very powerful and emotional. And after I did that, one of my guides walked up behind me, flashing fucking orb in front of me. Like, cause I'm like standing in the mirror and it's like right there. And I look over and instantly I had this realization this entire time. Cause I said, you're divinely protected, like pointing in the mirror, like you are fucking protected. You fucking have abilities, and it's time to step up and own that, own your power, you know? And I was like, fucking like, just like, I love you, like that, you know, like, oh, okay. So I'm like saying that. And then I had this powerful realization. I was like, oh my God, I'm divinely protected from not destroying my fucking bodysuit. That's what this is all about. People think they're protecting their energy from bad spirits when really they're protecting their energy from their magnificent power, because their magnificent power done in the wrong way could completely destroy their fucking body. And I sat back for a second and I almost started just bawling because I was thinking about how many people have like experienced trauma in this world, and it was so bad. It was so bad for them, and they didn't have any outs. They didn't find their way through it, and it made them feel so separate that their coping mechanisms became these horrific behaviors that hurt other people, like the serial killers that we've heard of, because that's literally what we're talking about. Or the many different people in this world, the people that hurt you. They all, at one point, were a victim in their story. They all, at one point, they weren't born into this earth evil. And how dare you think that? Because if you think that somebody is evil, that tells me you don't understand your own traumatic experience, and you must be seeing some part of you as wrong or evil. Because for you to fathom that evil exists in this world, you see yourself in everything that walks around this earth. Everything that you see yourself in it. And if you see yourself in it and you look at a person and you judge them for the way they behaved, and you look at a person and you condemn them for the way that they behaved, what you are saying is that you're condemning a part of you, saying it's unworthy, it's not good, that it needs to behave differently, that it needs to be cast out of society. When really, that's the furthest fucking thing from this reality. And it took a lot for me to even get to this point. But I don't know. I hope you guys can get some sort of like resonance in something that I'm saying right now. But like, there's a lot of potency in realizing that every single thing around you, every story, every person, your father, your mother, the people that you hate, the people that you love, the people that anger you, the people that you just like, oh my God, it's nails on chalkboard. Every single one of them, you see yourself in it. And so then it becomes, how the fuck can you see yourself fully in it? And it doesn't mean you stay, right? Like, and I just went through a harrowing experience last year, and I can tell you right now, I have had a firsthand lesson in just how much your environment greatly impacts you. And the people that you surround yourself with, they can fuck your shit up. And it may not even be that they're saying it to you directly. It may be that it's their own mind and the way that they talk on a regular basis that can fuck your shit up. And when I say fuck your shit up, set you back like 10 years. And I'm so grateful that I was only in that environment long enough to see myself fully, and Spirit ripped me out of that. There was no obstacle that stood in my way. I was given my next life. Literally, like they're like, okay, you're done here, and here's your new girlfriend, by the way, who's going to be the most healing energy, and it's gonna scare the shit out of you. And you're gonna learn a whole nother level of love as you now heal. And by the way, you're gonna be broke a little bit in the process. We love you for it. You're gonna be fine. And like, literally, and my guides stepped back during that experience last year to allow me to see myself in it. And I gotta hand it to you. I saw myself, and I'll be honest, I did not like that version. You know, like, no, no, we can do better than that. And so I learned a lot from that, but then walking away from it, went through my dark night of the soul, came through that, and then started working heavy on, serial killers. and doing the channel work with serial killers that are both alive and dead. And we're almost done with the series on serial killers on the podcast, and then we're about to enter into haunted places. And I'm going to be talking a lot more about the trauma and the energy signatures that appear and why people are attracted into it, and why do they experience harrowing experiences in that environment, because the potency of energy is so potent, and how it physically manifests in front of them as certain things. And what it's doing is manifesting as the very demons that are in your past. The things that you've been ignoring, it'll show up in your past. And I say that because, like, there has not been to this day a home that I've gone into to clear poltergeist, quote unquote. So if you're curious about what poltergeist means, that is the German word for noisy spirit. And so, like, I would go into these homes and I would clear out energy, and every time I'd walk in, the pastor would be like, we need to, like, in the name of this, and start screaming at the fucking, what he thought was a demon. And what he was seeing was his own trauma playing out in this experience. And he still to this day does not know that, nor like who am I to change his belief system? If that's how he wants to live his life, in the belief that he has to have fear of God, and he has to be afraid of demons, and he has to protect his energy with the Bible, thinking that it's an outside source, not an inward source. You get my vibe? Because again, protection is not for dark entities, it's for you. Because you can destroy your fucking body, guys, completely. Because you are so fucking powerful. You can destroy everything. Like, you could go, what's her name? What's her name? God damn it, what's her name? I'm seeing her face. I'm seeing her face. Don't say it. It's the Red Witch lady, like, from Marvel. Why can't I think of her fucking name right now? Somebody say it. God damn it. Why can't I think of her name? It's like I see it. I see the comic of it, and then I'm seeing her, like, the new version of her. Wanda, I love you. Thank you. Yes, Wanda. Okay, thank you guys. Thank you. So, like, Wanda is a perfect example of how trauma shows up in your motherfucking life. Go watch Marvel, guys. It's literally showing you all the different traumas that experience. Like, Doctor Strange, he turned his traumatic experience, and boy, was it tough, into an opportunity of healing for other people. Doesn't mean he doesn't have fucking problems, because he does have fucking problems. I think that's why I love Doctor Strange so much. But Wanda is a perfect example of trauma going backwards, going hayward. Because at one time she was not like that, okay? She was definitely not like that. She was completely different. And then out of nowhere, she starts being something else. And you're like, what the fuck, Wanda? Get your shit together. No, I'm just kidding. But so anyways, I forget where I was going with that. But, like, you get the point, you know? Like, so we can become our worst enemy. We can destroy ourselves that's what I was talking about. We can destroy ourselves in it. And I think that's my biggest takeaway from doing my reading with my mother. I walked away from that reading. My nervous system was so, what I thought was so interesting. I was so calm. I was so regulated. I felt safe. Like, and I read her energy, and I had a profound realization in there about, like, how trauma works and how it's passed down, and, like, so much love and compassion and gratitude for the experience to sit with her. In the realization of just how many people feel like they don't have a choice, but then also just how many people go so far as to destroy their bodies in the process of that. Like, can you imagine going your whole life? You, like, were born into this world, and number one, the moment that you, like, entered your bodysuit, you're literally in a vehicle, right? And that vehicle, like, the check engine light's already going off when you're in the womb, because your mom is carrying so much fucking shame, and she's anxious, and she's scared about her life, and she's carrying rejection wounds, so she's withdrawn, she's disassociated, she doesn't know what to do with her life, and she's literally bringing that energy onto you, and then your ass is fucking then coming out into this earth, and like, that's how you're seeing the world right from day one. And you're growing up with these parents who then don't know what the fuck to do with themselves, and then they're passing that energy onto you indirectly, because they're not saying it necessarily, or maybe they are literally saying it, and then you're walking this earth like, I have no other choice. I have to be like this. And you miss all these different perspectives because you think that that's the way that you have to be. I was sitting with a lady recently and doing a session on her, and she's at a point in her life where she's kind of like self-destructing. And so I said to her, I'm like, let's talk about attachment. I said, do you have some ideas about how you see yourself in attachment? And she said, well, I think attachment, like would be like, I need to let go of things that I'm holding on to. And I was like, okay. And I said, what's letting go to you? And she said, drop it to the floor and run. And so I'm going to ask you guys before I explain a little bit about what letting go is. What do you identify as letting go? What does letting go mean? Because all kinds of fucking spiritual people will tell you, oh, here's the process to let go. But I'm gonna give you a quick way, an easy way to do this, like, because we don't need to bring all this fucking drama into the world. Gotta love it. Wow, wow. So on this platform, I see some people saying forgiveness, letting it go to the universe, letting things just be what they are. Forgiveness, stop worrying what's going on. Let's go, so you're trying to say let go, let God, processing it and allowing it to be what it is. Okay. Forgiving. As you guys know, I give you trick questions. Dun, 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 dun. Like my poor mentorship clients, they're like, when you ask me a question, I know it's a trick question because there's something underneath it that you're going to tell me and it's going to like change my opinion. I'm like, well, let the ego go for a second, and just tell me what you fucking think letting go is. Okay. So what if I told you, I'm going to give you like an actual example. Okay. A real world example and then a metaphoric one to kind of like set it in. You're like, damn, Brittany. So by the time you're done, you're like, okay, we get it. Like, anyways. So imagine you're in New York City. Some of you have been in New York City and some of you have never entered New York City. Just imagine for a moment though, you are walking along the motherfucking street and it's jam fucking packed and there's people walking, and a lot of people in New York City are not really nice, but we're just gonna ignore that. But anyways, they're just walking and you're trying to keep up with the flow because if you've ever been in New York City, they fucking walk really fast. So anyways, they're walking and they're walking and they're walking. And long story short, you come across a girl and she has like dumped her bag, okay? It's fallen out, her drink spills everywhere. Some of it gets on another person, that person's upset. And she's like, leave me alone. And she's trying to pick up all her papers. Nobody understands me. I'm so alone. I can't do anything in this life. And she's just like messed up, okay? Fucking messed up, okay? And she's just grabbing her papers. And like, I wanna ask you right now, I'm in the gay community. And when people say that, when women say they're fine, they're not fine, okay? I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know that my soul could, that would be a lot of Jesus to be like, oh, ma'am, let me help you. Because, I'll be scared she's gonna fucking yell at me. And then I'm gonna feel like I'm, back in my mama wounds. And then I'm not gonna be okay, okay? So anyways, I might not stop, okay? Would you stop? She's going, leave me alone. I've got this. I'm going to get my life together. Nobody cares about me. Would you stop? Would you stop? Okay. So I'm going to call bullshit to some of you that are saying yes, just because I'm going to be honest with you guys. If we were actually in that setting, bullshit. Because if she's already feeling attacked, the likelihood that she's then going to project that on energy onto you right then and there, I would not stop. It wouldn't be worth it. And the reason that I say it wouldn't be worth it is because all I'd want to do is make sure she had space. Because that woman is going through a lot. And if you've ever been through a lot, the last thing sometimes that you want is someone to try to fix what you feel like is already fucking broken. And so we're going to come back to this scenario in 1 second. Just hear me out, okay? So say you did stop and then she becomes verbally aggressive towards you. How are you going to fucking feel? Are you just going to go, oh, well, I tried? Or are you going to be like, you fucking little, eh, you don't talk to me like that. Like, you don't act like that. Like, why don't you get yourself up off the floor? Like, or you might be like, just, like, whew, she's having a bad day. How is it going to go? This is why I wouldn't stop, because it would be a waste of my own drainage of energy. If that person is that in that kind of energy space, they are attached to everything. And it's so hard to navigate. It's so hard to have a conversation with someone or to step in and be supportive to someone when they're that attached. And so when I was in the session talking to the lady, I used that example, and she said, I would have never stopped, honestly. Like, I would have been like, because she lives in New York City, and she's like, we just keep moving. We just we think there's something wrong with them, and we just keep moving, because that's not normal. That's not a normal response. And so for those of you that would stop, I would ask you, first off, what in the name of rescuing are you doing? Was there consent there? Let me explain. Just hear me out. Same situation happens, except this time, and wait, well, I want to go back to that for just a second. So let's name her Sarah, okay? And Sarah's the one that's all fucked up. She's going, and you stop, right? And then she becomes aggressive towards you, okay? Like, then you're going to feel something, right? Your nervous system's going to start becoming reactive. You know why your nervous system's reactive? It's because, bitch, you have attachments too. And her fucking acting that way, you're like, damn it, here we go again. I'm getting it from my wife, and now I'm getting it from my, I can't do anything right. And my kids hate me. She hates me now. I can't fucking do anything. But then I want to go back to, who the fuck said that you had to fucking stop to help them? Yeah, that's the good thing to do, or is that the selfish thing to do? Because that person is in their fucking energy, and you can witness them, you can support them. You could also wait for her to get back up at eye level and smile at her. Or you could, I don't know, not approach her, because that's not a time to approach somebody, because that's going to be triggering for you. So that would be you rescuing somebody, okay? Because guess what? You're rescuing someone when you are supporting them beyond the means that you have to support them immediately, okay? If you start sacrificing everything, and I'm not talking about being in a relationship, right, where you're navigating a partnership, and sometimes you do have to compromise, sometimes you do have to sacrifice, right? I'm talking about you're giving everything to that person, and it's just coming out of you, and you are drained beyond belief, and you aren't even taking any fucking time for yourself or doing anything for yourself. That's rescuing. That's unhealthy. That's part of the drama cycle. The victim triangle that I've talked about, that drama cycle, that's a fucking thing, okay? And so what you're doing is putting yourself in the line of the persecutor, who's then going to be literally attacking you into victim mode, right? And you don't need that kind of energy, especially on the street of New York City. Let that shit go, okay? But we'll talk about how to let that shit go in a minute. Because it's not always about forgiveness. Forgiveness is a quick way to let go, right? It's important to navigate the world that way. But there's another thing that we'll talk about in a minute. So anyways, so that's one scenario. Then we have Martha. Okay, so Sarah's the one that's going, ah! And she's attacking everybody. And honestly, I would not stop. I don't recommend stopping, because that's going to take out too much energy. And that's going to fucking, you got to no. Okay, sometimes you're just not evolved enough to handle that. And it's at that moment when you are that aware, nah, I'm not going to stop. That energy is a little bit too intense. I'm just going to step back, give her space, because that's respect. She's trying to navigate it. Let her navigate it. If she wanted help or she didn't seem to care, okay, the point. Okay, so Martha's walking along. She's having a rough day, but Martha is really inhibiting the art of detachment, okay? She's got her bag, she's got her coffee, she's got her bag and her coffee, and she's walking along, and she gets bumped, and everything that she has starts falling everywhere, and papers flying everywhere. And instead of her going, oh my God, this is happening, what is going on, why is this happening, this is happening now, this is happening, what the fuck, why is this happening? She just stops for a moment, goes, whew, I'm okay. And then reaches down, and she starts picking up her papers, She's not interacting with anybody around her. She's just trying to grab her papers, and she's reaching out, and she's, not straining herself, right? But she's taking action, but she's not straining herself. And if she loses a paper, okay, she can print another one. Life goes on. And she's just doing that and freely just trying to pick up what she can, and she's going to put it in her bag, and then she's going to go get herself another coffee because she dropped her coffee. Would you stop? I would 1010% stop. You know why? I'll explain after you tell me whether or not you'd stop. Would you stop? Would you stop? This is a trick question, guys. I feel like everyone's like, I don't know. I don't know what to answer. Do I stop? Yeah, do I stop? Because remember, Sarah was like, I'm fine. Leave me alone. Blah, 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 blah. She stated, leave me the fuck alone. I'm fine. Get the fuck away from me. At that point, you're just looking for trouble if you're going to fucking go a-begging, right? But we're talking about Martha. Martha is calm. Martha has reached down. She's grabbing her papers. I'd fucking stop in a heartbeat. Immediately. You know why? Because that person is detached from an outcome. And that may even turn into a powerful conversation that I probably needed to hear, because if it happened near me and I now have an opportunity to go, oh my gosh, actually here, let me help you. Like, now I've just entered their realm, their whole universe. And now I have an opportunity to see an entire different perspective. Here you go, here's some papers. I'm so sorry if another one flew away, I wasn't able to catch it. And then before, oh, thank you so much. I'm having a weird day today. Like, that just turned into a whole different kind of energy, right? And maybe it's not a long conversation. Maybe it's quick. And then you feel good about yourself. She feels good about herself. She feels supported, right? Or like out of nowhere, then, it just turns into a conversation. Kind of like how I was walking in Sedona, like on a hike. And I happened to bump into the one person who was just discovering that she experienced trauma. You can't make up some of the shit that I end up in, but and she happened to run into a person who reads trauma very well. And I just we're walking by, and they heard us talking, and her mom was walking with her, and her mom stopped me and said, oh, I heard that you just said you're a psychic medium, not to eavesdrop. Are you here for the convention in Sedona? And I said, oh no, I'm just here doing my normal ritual that I usually do in Sedona. And I started laughing. And she said, oh, what kind of psychic are you? And I said, well, I read trauma for a living. And she looks at her daughter, and her daughter, her eyes are just bloop. And she said, oh, wow. And her daughter drops her head down, and I said, I smiled at her, and I said, there's so much beauty in this world, and you're already in a beautiful place to be here right now. I love this for you. And she smiled, and she said, I'm just discovering that I've been through some trauma recently. And she said, it's embarrassing that I just realized that I'm in trauma. And I said, a lot of times we're not aware when we're going through it. And I said, it sounds like your body was just protecting you as you were, navigating the experience by not allowing you the awareness that you were in that trauma. And it's so beautiful that you survived it, that you're here right now with your mom. And it sounds like you're on your way to your healing journey. And she smiled really big, and she's like, do you have a card? I'd love to talk to you. And it was this beautiful moment where I had this interaction, very brief, but that was confirmation for her indirectly from the universe. And that's the type of stuff that happens on a regular basis when you detach from the experience. And the whole time, mind you, my ass was just, I was blabbing because I was walking with a friend, and we were trying to walk up these goddamn rocks, because I of course naturally I'm obsessed with the creek in Sedona. I'm always at that creek every chance I get in Sedona. And there's this one hike that's horrible. I will never do it in this body right now because I'm out of shape. Can't handle that kind of hike. But back when I was doing window washing and shit, I was in a little bit more shape, and I could handle that kind of level of fucking hike, because you're scaling the mountain basically. And it's a rigorous hike. But even for me then, I had enough breath to be able to complain, and I was complaining. out loud. And spirit was like, perfect, we'll put her in earshot of, you know, the mother of this girl so that there can be like a, you know, a conversation and an opportunity for her to do some deeper healing. And like it worked out because it ended up being something. So it was perfect. But the point I'm trying to make here is we have these experiences on a regular basis. And sometimes we represent the Martha crowd, and other times we represent the Sarah crowd. And sometimes, you know, we're not a Sarah going like, ah, like out loud. Sometimes it's internal. And that energy is just as loud as saying it out loud. And you know what I'm saying when I say that, because there's people in your life that you know like what they're fucking thinking because of how they're fucking acting. They're like, and that energy is so fucking loud. And you hear it. It's like boom, like shock waves across the energy world. And you're like, whoa, like scared shitless, right? So the point I'm making here is, what does this all mean, and why the fuck am I going on this long, like, fucking manifestation train of, like, what the fuck this represents? It all intersects and interconnects. The reason I say that is if you stop, right, and you talk to a Sarah, your nervous system's then going to be overreactive, and then you're now going to go take that energy into, I don't know, wherever the fuck you were headed next. So that's why it's important to be aware of your surroundings and be aware of your own body and what your energy limits actually are, because respect starts with you. And if you're willing to respect your body by saying, well, you know what, this person, you know, like it's not about deserving whether or not I stop. It's that this is going to drain my energy because that, you know, I don't want to put myself through that. It's going to bring me back to a childhood memory, you know, whether I want to acknowledge it or not. And that's what happened with, you know, my mother, when I was in the session with her, her octave, her body language, everything she was saying. It wasn't that she was hurtful. My nervous system, my body was reacting to her in ways that I could not even explain until after the session. And I sat there and I'm like, I'm so drained of energy. I am never doing that again, because I don't have to put myself through that again. But my God, was it healing? Was it beautiful? And I'm happy I had the opportunity. I'll probably write a whole book on that. But like, I'm just, that's a lot for my nervous system. And I literally went to sleep, literally right after the session, cleansed my energy, jumped in bed and fell asleep and slept for like a good 2 hours and woke up and was like still so tired. I was like, I don't know what I'm navigating next, but like, I need to wait a little bit because like my body can't handle it. And what I came away with from that session was, I got to treat my body like the goddess body that it is. And when I say that, I'm not saying that like in this like weird way. I'm saying it like my body shows me so many things, like overthinking. I thought that I had to listen to those thoughts. Actually, when I start overthinking, the mechanism of overthinking is a defense mechanism that's coming up, which means that my check engine light on my body is going off, which indicates that there's something in my environment that's making me feel unsafe. And I need to stop for a moment and recognize what's making me feel unsafe. What is it? And whether it's an actual threat in my environment or it's a perceived threat by my body because something in it is reminding it of my childhood, I need to take the time to let my body integrate that and feel that and go, hey, we're good. And it doesn't work like I just go, we're good, we're back here. No, it's like I have to condition it differently because it's been conditioned and programmed a completely different way. And that takes time. But in the time that it takes, it is not about just going about life and navigating it. It's about seeing how you're showing up with it. So now let me explain what letting go really means. I want you to picture for a moment, you come into this earth, you're standing on a motherfucking riverbank. You got some weird ass people in the water and they're going, let go! And like, you're like, what the actual fuck? Okay, those represent like the spiritual gurus of the world and they're just like, you just gotta let go! You just gotta let it go. And like, and you're like, what the actual fuck? And like, and then all the people on the riverbank, they're like, yeah, they're fucking crazy. Don't listen to them. Here's some rocks. And you're like, why would I touch those rocks? And then your parents say, pick up those damn rocks. We're picking up rocks. Pick up rocks. Be like us. We have to teach you how to navigate this world. And you better learn it now. And by that, I mean, like, you better shut the fuck up and sit down, and you need to learn how to buck up and deal with your feelings and all the sayings that were heard. Because most of us, especially the older generations, we've heard it, right? That dysfunctional family where that family is just passing that shame right down to us. Oh, what? You're feeling something different than outside of what we feel, which is picking up rocks? We pick up rocks in this family. Here, have a rock. Let me actually get a couple rocks here. Here, we want you to take on the religion of this family. We don't care that you actually don't believe in this religion. Pull this rock right now. It's a heavy one. It's all fear-based. You got to make sure that you hold it tight, because if you drop it, you'll cease to exist on this earth. So, I got to hold my rock. I got to hold my rock. I got my rock. I'm okay. Okay. Also, you can want what you want, Brittany, but you don't deserve it, and you never will. Here, hold this rock. I didn't even ask for that rock. How did this rock happen? Nope, don't touch that rock. I'm going to give you another one too. I'm holding another rock, and I'm going to give you a rock in a second. And then you're walking along and you just start collecting fucking rocks, because all of your fucking family is collecting fucking rocks, because their fucking relatives, their fucking, parents collected fucking rocks. And you still got all these crazy quote unquote people going, let go of the rocks! Let go! You'll be fine. And they're like in the water and they're having like Jesus moments, and you're like, what the fuck are they doing? You're just holding these fucking rocks. And then over time you go to school and your teacher says, well, you're failing this class. If you don't start getting it together, you may not ever get a college education, and college is where it's all at. I just got another rock. Oof, that one's hard, right? And then, wow, we're going to go ahead and keep you behind. Oh, are you trying to drop out of school? How dare you try to just get your GED? You won't be able to actually go to a college. Here's another rock for you. Oh, why would you leave this school to go to this school? Or why would you do this? And then it becomes more and more rocks. And before long, you've listened to so many different perspectives that you've taken on what rocks they have. And some of them have fragmented their own rocks and handed them out to the millions. Whoop, whoop, whoop. And there's all these rocks going everywhere. And everybody's like, I'll take that rock. And before long, you realize, wait, my mom's kind of weighed down with her rocks. Here, Mom, I'll take some of your rocks. And then you start learning how to rescue, right? How to be supportive to the rest of your family by carrying their fucking rocks. And before long, you have so many damn rocks that now you're fucking having health problems, emotional issues. Like, you're just fucked up. And you're just tired. And you're like, what's the fucking point? What's the point? Everyone's judging everybody who's different than the people that are holding the fucking rocks. Those rocks represent people, places, things, attachment to outcomes, attachment to the way that you think that you have to fucking show up. All of it represents something. And you're holding all of that. And you're trying to navigate the world. And sometimes, if you're not careful, you end up in environments where some of the people that are holding their fucking rocks start taking their fucking rocks and throwing them at you. And if you're not careful, it may damage you in the process. But don't stop. You're supposed to keep moving along that riverbank. You got to find more rocks. And before long, you're walking along and you've got like injuries the size of fucking Texas. And you're like, here, I can carry more of your rocks. I can carry more. I can do more. I can help. And you have so many goddamn rocks. You're so fucking injured. And before long, you're hitting about 75, 80. And you've been carrying your rocks so fucking long. It makes me want to cry to think of how much people carry that kind of energy most of their damn life. And you get to your grave and you've carried those rocks so long. And guess what? Those rocks don't come with you. The outcome to your experiences don't come with you in the afterlife. You are not attached to one thing over another thing. You are not attached to a person. You are not attached to the things that showed up. It doesn't fucking matter how much money you have or money that you don't have. It doesn't matter whether or not you trained your kids, because guess what? You came in the earth and you are representing an ancestral trauma that is greater than yourself. So if you have children, it is part of their like blueprint to experience that pattern from you. And it is just as fucking sacred. So let yourself off the hook, because that whole like, I got to do everything right part about being a parent is another fucking rock, because there's no right and wrong. There is no right and wrong in all of this. And I'm going to say it again. There is no right and fucking wrong. You can do no wrong. So, with that said, what it takes, you're holding all these rocks. Let me give you an example. The belief that, what's a one that's like not so personal, because I don't feel like crying. That I'm unlovable. That's been a rough one that I've 10 years worth of work on that one. So I'm holding it, like the belief that I'm unlovable. And that's a core wound, by the way. There's something wrong with me. I am holding this shame. And this rock, I'll just say this represents that. But really, in reality, that rock is so fucking heavy. It feels like I don't know, a boulder that I'm carrying, right? And trying to carry that boulder, it's like, oh, like feel it in my shoulders. Like even as I'm talking about it, I'm feeling it in my shoulders. There's still something there to heal, right? I get excited when I have something to heal. So anyways, like it's in my shoulders. I feel it in my body, right? So how am I going to get rid of that? Oh shit. I could stop for a moment and whoop, the boulder just dropped down. And now all of a sudden, because I'm being present in my everyday life, I'm starting to notice how people love me. And if I would just stop trying to carry everything for everybody else and start focusing on being present, what I will find is that I'm loved, I'm supported, and everything that I've ever fucking needed is right in front of me. I don't need to be worried. I have it all. And you have it all. So, what letting go is allowance. How long can you allow it to be on the ground? Some people, they work in a session with me, or they work in a session with another practitioner, and they drop a rock. They drop a big ass rock, and it's like, damn, good for you. And as they're leaving, you think, damn it, they're picking that rock back up as soon as they leave this facility. And sure enough, they'll pick it right back up. My mentor had a theory about that. She's like, it's so interesting to me. People are fascinating. They're like Velcro. And I was like, why did you call them Velcro? That's fucking weird. Why would you say that? And she's like, because it's like they walk around this fucking earth and they just like literally just suction cup everything. Ding, 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 and like just carry it. And they just carry it and carry it because their mama said to long ago, and they just never stopped. And like literally, I go back to a core wound when I talk about being unloved. So that big rock, the boulder that I was holding, had a lot to do with the fact that my mom didn't feel loved, and she felt that nobody would ever love her because her father said that nobody would ever love him. So he then passed that on to her, and then her father's mother had that same thing, and then mother led to her mother, and mother led to the other mother, and then it goes back like 3 generations, and it goes into the father again, and it just keeps going down each line where somebody in there is saying, no one's ever going to love you. So guess what my mom said when I was a kid? Oh, I love you, Brittany. Oh, I love you, Brittany. Oh, I love you, Brittany. Oh, you know what? You're not doing enough. You're not a good kid. You're not a good daughter. You need to do more. You are not doing enough. I can't stand you. Get away from me. So it was an inconsistent thing. So I'd be like, I'm confused. I don't know what the fuck I am. So I would literally tell her that I'm like, I'm confused. What's going on? And, it must have been when I would get home from school and my mom would be gone that I would start realizing, oh man, like, I'm unlovable. Maybe I am unlovable. And then slowly but surely, certain actions that my mom did for me and then against me made me feel more unlovable or less unlovable, right? Like, so it was like this weird conundrum. And then before long, one day she finally said it. She looks at me and she says, Brittany, no one will ever love you. And then she followed it up with, if you want someone to love you, you better do everything for them. And I remember sitting there going like, oh, I was standing at the time on the landing of my childhood staircase. And I remember just standing there looking at her like, she's right. And I cried because I have to do everything. I have to do everything for the family. So guess what? 2 more rocks. So where I'm going with this is when we're talking about navigating a core wound and we're talking about attachments that you hold, the key component isn't that you're going to just magically detach from all of this, right? It's about allowance, about allowing yourself to be in the space that you're in, right? So like, for instance, if I were to just say, no, I am lovable, like logically, I know I'm lovable, everybody loves me, everything's great. That's so far from my reality that I have to go in and like start dealing with some of that trauma before I can start actually getting to the point where I believe that feeling, right? So this is where it gets interesting. How can I then deal with that, right? So some of it's layer by layer, working and processing through it, doing some inner child work helps. Breath work can then help, like from a holistic standpoint. But then doing like the quantum techniques that I do on people, that's been very helpful. Doing past life regression, like what's my soul contract with my mother, that can help me. Ancestral trauma healing can be very helpful in something like this. But then also the other thing is in the moments when I feel unlovable now, I have to become my best parent. And so it's about me stopping for a moment, not looking for somebody else to make me feel loved, right? It's about me stopping and going in and going, no, 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 no. I love this. I love you. I'm in this with you. And we're doing this together. Doesn't matter if that person's here or not. It doesn't matter if that person's there. It's not our business to know what they're fucking thinking. They can love me or they can fucking hate me. It doesn't matter. What matters is how are you feeling about this? Do you feel safe here? What do you need from this? And then also, as you're navigating your own healing journey, can you actually stop dismissing yourself? When I say that, somebody in here said, well, somebody said, how did you heal it? I'll say this. A normal response is to say, oh, my parents did the best that they could. And that's something that I walked this earth with. Like, I got shunned by my family when I was 21. And when I was freshly out of that, I was like, oh, they just believe how they believe. Oh, they believe. And what I was doing was verbally dismissing my own feelings. So I had rage, I had anger, I had sadness, I had disappointment, I had grief. I had denial, I had shock, I had every fucking thing that I could possibly think of. Inadequacy, self-doubt, some happiness, some apathy, some indifference, like I had the whole spectrum of emotion, right? Plus I fucking felt abandoned, okay? And instead of me dealing with that, I dismissed it. Oh, they just believe how they believe. I can't change them. Like, it is what it is. I just got to give that back to the universe. Like, it's cool. Like, I'm just going to do that. But guess how I would walk, guys? And this is the cool thing, is when you walk around and you see people, they carry it in their body. You know how I would walk? That's why my posture is so bad. And then also because I used to get beatings, like, all the time. So, like, I've got kind of, like, some weird shit with my body. But anyways, like, I would walk like this. because I'm carrying the weight of injustice. I've been robbed of what I really deserve, and I'm going to keep robbing myself of everything in this world. Nobody loves me. I'm unlovable. I'm going to just like wallow away in my sadness. No one cares. No one understands me. I'm disempowered. I'm not kidding. People hold their energy like this. And then also someone who's like feeling that abandonment wound, they lean because they're looking to lean on somebody who's going to somehow make sure that they're like safe and they need to find the love that's outside of themselves to fill up their cup, right? The void that's within them. So they lean on everything. And I can pick up some, like, literally, if I'm standing in front of somebody, I don't even fucking need to be psychic. It's scary because like I'll just look at somebody and I'm like, yeah, well, that's abandonment. Just gonna walk away from that. Or like somebody standing there like going like this. I just witnessed somebody the other day like in their vehicle going, and I'm like, what in the name of injustice is that? That poor person is triggered the fuck out. Like, holy shit. Holy shit. Anyways, the point is, how you start healing it is you stop for a moment and you stop dismissing it and you let yourself fucking get angry. You let yourself feel the fucking feelings that are coming up. And I gotta stress to you, it wasn't until I finally stopped, I felt safe enough to stop running from one thing to the next thing to the next thing, trying to survive, just get from one thing to the next thing. I finally stopped and I went, oh my God, I'm devastated. And sometimes what happens is a person will go through a series of unfortunate events, meaning like some of them will like literally go through a like series of losses in their life, and that will actually cause them to stop. Like it'll make them pump the brakes long enough to go, fuck, I'm not okay. I need to stop for a moment. I need to get in therapy, or I need to go to a life coach. I need to go do something with myself. And like they'll actually go and start dealing with it. But most people will just carry it. And that's the problem. Like that's where you could say divine protection is at play or divine intervention is at play, because you're offered new opportunities on a regular basis to drop your fucking rocks. And most of the time you're like, nah, I don't need to drop my rocks. You know what I would have did if I was walking the street of of New York City and I saw Sarah going like, I leave me alone. I would have been like, I'm gonna go home and do some healing work, because the fact that I even am on the same fucking street as this lady, I'm gonna see myself in her for a moment. And yeah, I would want somebody to stop, but like you can't make somebody stop when you're acting like that. Like, damn. There's something in there that I need some fucking healing on that. I'm going to go home and do some healing work on that. That's like interesting. I'm going to put that in my notes. I'm going to be doing that work tonight, because that is going to teach me something powerful, because like that just showed up in my environment. Like, because you guys think that nothing intersects, right? Like nothing interconnects, or you might think everything connects, but then when you're walking on the street, it doesn't dawn on you that like literally you happen to be in the same energy, and you happen to be walking near somebody, bow, bow, wow, wow. Okay, like not weird. Don't make it weird. But like you happen to be walking near somebody that's got some mama trauma and they are freaking out, or like the Karen. Guys, I'm not kidding. I remember years ago, I was with my ex-wife, and this was before everything came out about the domestic violence that happened there. And I like was rushing actually into this Walmart to get some stuff for, my stepdaughter. And I was in trouble, by the way, because like my wife at the time, she was like angry at me because I don't know what it was. Like, I think I burned the chicken or something. It was like something so ridiculous, but it involved food, because that seems to be like the number one issue. And if you know me, food is like everything to me. And like, I talk a lot about food, and like, I'm constantly like, what's for dinner? What am I doing for breakfast? Ooh, donut holes, or like, oh man, I want my coffee like from Starbucks, or I'm going to make my coffee out of the bowl, like blah 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 blah. I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do that, blah 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 blah. And so like anyways, long story short, um, I'm waltzing around and like, I almost forgot the story that I was telling. Where was I fucking going with this? What the fuck was it? Oh yeah. So we were talking about interconnection and like how it all intersects. Everything that we experience on a regular basis. I forgot what the fuck I was saying actually, because I saw somebody like message something and I wanted to respond to it right away, and then I stopped, and then I was like, oh yeah, I burned the chicken. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much, Thank you. Thank you for listening. I'm so grateful. Okay. So like I was walking to Walmart and I was stressing out, and I was like trying to get like something from the store, and I was like grabbing it, and I come out of the store and I'm hearing this lady scream. And this woman was like, she's like super tall, dressed to the nine, and she's, like just standing on the curb of Walmart, screaming to her phone, and she's crying. She's like dysregulated. She had clearly like signs of complex PTSD, and she's like freaking out. She's like, Jerry just left me. Jerry just left me. Jerry's not coming back. What do I do? Where do I go? I don't know what to do. And I'm like looking at her, and I'm just like, I don't got time. Like, but see, in that moment, I would have stopped if I had time to stop, because I was so in my rescue. I was trained, I was conditioned to stop and take on someone else's shame in that moment. And yes, there are some instances where you can start to help somebody. Like, I'm trained in psychosis. I could stop and actually help somebody like a lot in a situation, but there are a lot of times that you don't want to intervene, because that whole representation, there's something to be learned from it. So anyways, she's screaming and she's saying, Jerry, like Jerry left me, blah, 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 blah. And she's like yelling that in the parking lot. And I'm like, mind you, like, I'm like, is somebody going to call the police? And I didn't stop long enough because I was rushing back home. I fucked up the chicken. I had so many fucking problems. It's just always another fucking thing. So like, I'm like, got my stuff in hand, and I'm listening to her. Like I can hear her so loudly as I walk to my car, get in my car, and I roll down my window and I start to turn up the music, and something made me just turn it down. And as I was driving by, she was literally crying because Jerry just abandoned her. Jerry said he's done with her, that they're done. He's breaking up with her. And he left her in the Walmart parking lot. And at that point, most people on social media, they love to go, well, what was she doing that upset Jerry? Because more than likely she did something wrong. She was probably the abusive person, and that's probably why she got left. She probably deserved it. And you'll see, imagine that scenario right now, like where like we see this on social media where somebody's being recorded, and like all these fucking chats are going live, and like everybody's like, oh my God, well, I would never do that. I would have stopped. I would have been supportive of her. And then somebody else is like, no, man, like she was probably the problem. Yeah, man, like she's the abusive one. Well, Jerry shouldn't have left her. And like, well, Jerry's probably just saving herself, blah, blah, blah. And they're like arguing back and forth about how this person ended up in this situation, trying to make sense of it. But in the process, they're literally spewing their own fucking shame and judgment on other people. And this is why I'm saying, see your fucking self in every single scenario and every person that shows up, because you are your universe. So that person, that woman that's screaming out about Jerry, I never forgot her. I never forgot her. And you know why I never forgot her? Because shortly after that, I was in a scenario where my life could have ended early from the person that I loved dearly. And I thought I could handle it until a 2x4 was 2 inches from my face. And so where I'm going with this is, we have scenarios that constantly play out in our environments that we're around. Be more present. And then also stop thinking that the stuff is not impacting you, because every single little bit of it is. and you're not going to have all the answers to navigate it. You're not going to know what the next steps are until you slow down enough. And I did. Right after that happened, the next morning, I got up and I sat down and I called up my estranged uncle. It was one of the only phone calls we had. Told him what happened, told him about the whole marriage. And he said, "What's it going to take, Brittany? Is it going to take an axe to the head? Is it going to take a hammer? Or are you going to finally just get it?" And I was like, "Get what?" "You got to take care of yourself." And yeah, that was probably a shitty conversation to bring up. I realized why. Like, I was like, where am I going with this? Because that was not necessarily the best conversation. But anyways, I sat down after he said that. And I was angry at him for saying that. I felt like I was looking for someone to rescue me. And I feel like just like that woman, like screaming in the parking lot, she was looking for someone to save her from her own inner child. And she was literally like, oh, like it's like her little child was coming out and like no one was helping her. No one was supporting her. And she felt abandoned and she felt like her life was going to come to a complete end. And in my moment when I was there, I'm sitting there thinking, oh my God, I don't know what the fuck to do. I've got nobody. I'm alone. How do I navigate this one? I sat down and I started down a little bit of a rabbit hole because fear came up, uncertainty, feeling unsafe came up. And I sat there and I was just like, okay, there's got to be a way. There's got to be a way around this. What's my first step? And that's all I started with. And then actually my first step was calling out to my spirit guides and saying, okay, guys, well, I'm going to go ahead and walk away from this relationship. Clearly it's done. You know, and I said, and I've stayed in it as long as I possibly can. Longer than what most people would do, because I'm stubborn. And now I need you to show me my next way through this. Please help me. Thank you. And I also followed it up with, if I meant to leave her, because just in case I wasn't, I'm sorry, please don't, like, just, that was where my head was, okay? I was like, if I meant to leave her, please remove all the obstacles that are in my way. I'm like laughing because I just think it's kind of funny. Like, it's funny now, it was not funny then, so I apologize for those of you that are going through that now. I love you, it's gonna be okay. But like, I was like sitting there and I was just like, if I meant to leave her, remove all the obstacles that stand in my way and help me see my way through it. And literally, one by one, I watched obstacle after obstacle after obstacle after obstacle after obstacle fall to the ground. And the more detached I was to the outcome, I was just like, well, I don't know what's going to happen here. Same thing with court, by the way. Instead of me going, oh my God, I'm so worried. I don't know what's going to happen. Oh my God, is she going to be able to like get the protection order removed? Oh my God, is she going to get in trouble? Oh my God. I was just like, well, I don't know what's going to happen. And honestly, I don't even know if I really care. Like, I just want to live my life. I'm so happy I'm fucking free. I can actually sleep and like I can make my food and burn my chicken myself. And like, no one fucking yells at me like because I burnt something or like, you know, like I left something on the counter because like my ADHD brain, man, I'll leave something on the counter faster than you turn around and there's something else on the counter. You're like, how did she just like, does she not know to put stuff away? No, my brain does not put stuff away. I'm just like, oh, I'm going to need that later. We're going to leave it out. Anyways, so, you know, I'm just like in the energy. I'm just like, it's going to work. It's going to be fine. So anyways, the point is, the more that you say, I don't know and I don't care, you're literally detaching. And when you say that, at the same time, I think people confuse detachment with like this, I don't give a fuck. I don't care what the fuck happens. I don't care. Like, that's not what I'm saying. Because look, notice my body language. I don't give a fuck. I don't care what happens. I don't give a fuck. I'm not doing anything. Watch again. I don't give a fuck. I'm walking towards you, right? Because I've got things to fucking do. And I will do the best that I can do in any given setting. I don't know and I don't care. And my God, is it freeing to get to the point where you fucking say that Because how the fuck could you honestly know everything? That is a rock that people carry, that they think they have to know stuff, and then by a certain age they have to know everything. I date old people. Okay, well, I shouldn't say that. That's really fucked up to say that to my new girlfriend. I date old people, okay? And I gotta be honest, some of the people that I've dated in the past are like 20 plus my age, and they are fucked up. Not even close to like, I thought they knew shit. I thought they knew shit, okay? Nah, nah, okay? Sorry, Joanna. I'm sorry. You know things. You're so mature. You're the most mature person I've ever been with. I did not mean to say you like that. But I do date older. I'm just grateful. Okay, I'm gonna shut up. So anyways, the point is, age does not fucking matter. It doesn't matter at all, actually, because the time that you've been on this earth is not actually a ramification of something, right? Like, it's what you like. And yeah, maybe you've had experiences, but have you processed those experiences, or have you just been running to the next thing, to the next thing, to the next thing, to the next thing? And believe me, when you date people, by the way, I noticed, because I was in such a survival mode and I was just going one thing to the next thing to the next thing, I attracted in women who also did the exact same thing. They were also running to the next thing, to the next thing, to the next thing, to the next thing. And I'm like, why the fuck? And of course, naturally, I was annoyed with that. I'm like, why are you always running? Like, you should be slowing down. Like, you need to take better care of yourself. And like, I was saying what I fucking needed to do, okay? And that's where I gotta say this. You can change an entire relationship. Actually, I shouldn't say it this way, because not everyone can do this. It's a case-by-case scenario. But you can change a relationship by the way that you respond in it, and also by how well you co-parent that other person's inner child. Like, me and my girlfriend, every Sunday, we do a check-in. And when I say that, that check-in is like 15, 20 minutes. We start out by spending 3 minutes embracing one another and looking into each other's eyes. And while we're looking into each other's eyes, we don't say anything. We just look at each other and breathe to where we start connecting to the flow of each other's energy. And while we're doing that, we're just witnessing one another. We're just being in each other's presence. And then after that, then we start with like the check-in. How are you feeling? How did you feel about this week? What would you rate this week? What were you needing this week, and how was that delivered or not delivered this week? What do you need in the future? And if there's a problem or obstacle that comes up, we do a lot of shame work together. Like, we do like different forms of shame work. Like, if we had a really bad week, and we had a few really tough weeks, guys, and like, her and I sat there, like, literally like legs in legs, like we're just like right up next to each other, and I'm like, I'm ashamed of my body. And she responded with thank you. And then I said, I'm ashamed of this, I'm ashamed of that. And I get all the way through like 5 minutes of me doing that. Then she did 5 minutes back, and we talked about it, and we dealt with that together. And what it did was bring us to our heart space with one another. So we were seeing each other and witnessing each other in that way. And there's a way of doing that in a relationship. And I don't know about you, but like, in the moments where I might be annoyed or angry or frustrated or like, ugh, like, how do you not understand? Like, getting frustrated, right? I see her inner child. And it's because I'm doing check-ins with her. And like, we'll even do these exercises, like, because I'm always begging her to do another exercise. I'm like, can we try this? Can we do this? And like, I'll have her see my child self and what does she need. And so then she'll say something that my child needs, and the same thing goes for me. And guys, like, life fucking changing, because in the moments when we're both getting frustrated or angry, she's more patient because she's seeing my little child, and I'm more patient because I'm seeing her little child. And it's not like, oh, you're being a little child right now. Like, instead it's like, oh my God, like, wow, this is a core wound for this person. And once you start to realize that your relationship, like, whew, once you start to realize what that person has gone through, what their core wounds are, then you can start showing up for that person in that way. And get ready, because then you're making so much safety where then their responses, their behaviors are going to start to change. And mind you, you're not even attached to it, because you're seeing their little child and you're just like, man, like, I know they're probably going to struggle, like, you know, because I'm changing their environment, like I'm behaving differently. And what you'll find is they'll start showing up different as a result of you behaving that way. If you give it enough time, if you give patience and give space to that energy, what you will discover is a whole nother kind of reality that's magnificent. And I'm not saying that it heals relationship trauma or relationship issues, but it's a start, right? Because we all come from different experiences, different trauma, and we're navigating our life. And we attract in these beautiful people, sometimes for a short time, sometimes for a long period of time. And it's an opportunity to heal some of our core wounds through them. And how you treat that person, by the way, heals yourself too. Because, like, you know, even the other night, you know, my girlfriend brought up an issue that she had with something that I was doing, right? Instead of me getting defensive and being like, well, I, you know, did this because of this, I stopped and I'm like, oh my God, like, you know, I didn't even recognize it. The fact that this is coming up for you is a big thing. Like, that's a big thing. And she's like, no, like she wanted to dismiss it. And I'm like, no, actually, like, this is big and I want to do something about it. Here's what I want to do about it. And I sat back after I did that, like the next morning, and I got up and I felt so like this heart expansion, because I was like, I loved myself through her by showing up that way, by choosing a course of action that honors her feelings and honors what is going on in her world. And while that healed parts of her and it's showing up for her, it's also healing me, because like I'm showing up differently and I'm loving myself through the eyes of what I'm seeing her show up as. And it's me. And I was just like, oh my God, like I had like this realization of just how beautiful we're presented with these opportunities of healing, and we deny ourselves that. You're sitting on gold mines, guys. You're like over here like, nah, man, you know, he ain't worth shit. Like, and I'm just like, then leave him. If you think he's worth shit, then walk away, because that is not serving you. You know, Margie Wilford, the medium on TikTok, she says to me all the time, she's a close friend. She says, Brittany, if it's not a hell yes, then it's a hell no. And like last year, she was saying it a lot to me. She's like, Brittany, I want to ask you, I'm trying not to intervene here. I just want to ask you, is this a hell yes or a hell no? And if it's a hell no, then what the fuck are you doing about it? Like, what are we doing? And finally, I like call her up one day, you know, when I was finally done last year. And I call her up and I said, Margie, it's a hell no. Finally! And she was like so excited about my hell no. So that's what I'm going to say to you right now. There are reasons for each season that you're fucking in. There's reasons why you're holding on to your damn rocks. But remember that those rocks are not hurting anybody else but you. And if you're not careful, you're going to attract in a person that's carrying their rocks and they're throwing them at other people because they don't know how to fucking deal with their rocks. And it's going to hurt you in the process of you trying to navigate your own shit. So it's time for you to start navigating your own shit. And it starts with you making allowance, making room for you to fucking feel how you're feeling. And so that's when I started seeing the most improvement. I kind of rambled on because somebody asked me, how did I heal that? That's when I started seeing the most improvement, was when I stopped trying to dismiss other people treating me like shit. So I stopped trying to dismiss my mother for treating me that way, and I started getting angry. And most people would say, oh, you got to get rid of that anger. You can't be holding on to that anger. Well, I have to deal with the anger to get rid of the anger. I can't fucking deny myself the anger. It's just going to make me more angry. If I deny myself the fucking anger, I need to fucking feel the anger. I need to get real angry and be fucking angry for as long as I fucking need to be angry. I need to feel the betrayal that I felt and feel being robbed of what I deserved. And I was angry for a fucking long time. And then I learned how to navigate anger, and that became like everything to me because I got real good at that. I got real good at releasing that. And then I got real good at releasing disappointment and resentment and bitterness. And then I learned about self-doubt, and that was a journey in of itself. And then I learned how to move and navigate that doubt and to reframe that doubt. And in the process of it, feel it more and more and more. And that's why I'm good at my job because I do the work. And I'm asking you to do the motherfucking work because you're so worthy of the work. You're worthy of the time that it takes. And I mean that with so much love. And that's what I have for you today. And we did amazing. It looks like we got 10 likes on YouTube and we got 59,000 likes on TikTok. I love you guys so much. I will be live again tomorrow and then on Sunday. If you want to book a session with me, I'd love to work with you. I know I have some availability this week, and I would love to sit with you, whether that's 15 minutes, 40 minutes, or 60 minutes. I'd love to sit with you. And the link information is in the bio about that. Other than that, though, you take care of yourselves, love on yourselves, and be kind to your bodies, okay? Thank you, love you, and I appreciate you all.